Hey, thank you guys so much for the amazing funding for Kickstarter. I think we might officially now be halfway there, but we're only in like the first 2 days. We've already raised a lot, so really appreciate it from you guys. I wish I could thank you in person. I've been doing the filming. You can tell I went to film school. I've been doing the filming for a while now, but I'll never get used to just talking to like a little black rectangle, right? I wish I could look in the eye and be like, thank you so much, give you the firm handshake. But yeah, it's been going well, and it's been a fun, kind of interesting historical project to research. And someone asked what the hardest one to research, the hardest swordswoman to research was. And so far, I think it would have to be uh, our Mayan queen that we just put out. Because everyone and their mother has written a book about Joan of Arc. Um, there's plenty of resources for. Well, I mean, actually, some of these, even some of the more well-known uh, swordswomen, you'd be surprised how hard it is to find like a good, solid English book, because maybe they're from another country, but like a somewhat decent, solid resource that isn't just like a fanciful reimagination, like a novel or something. It's really hard to find some resources on some of these women who were real, who actually fought. Um, so it's been that kind of tells me it's a good thing that we're doing, because not everyone is putting out, it hasn't been done a million times to death, right? So it kind of keeps things fresh and interesting. But dude, the Mayan, the thing is, if you did a search, you can try this, Google Mayan or Mayan warrior queen or anything and everything. I mean, you can find blogs of people saying, oh yeah, the Mayan culture, this, that. But you're reading this and you're like, well, where are they getting this from? Who knows if any of this is true? Um, it's kind of a maze, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at hunting down information over the last few years, especially with the Wong Hun Fund stuff and trying to find all that, and then my training and etc. Um, but the very first thing I saw that was kind of like, aha, we're on the right track, or this is definitely a must-have, or this is authentic, right? Because I want to, like, there's a time and a place for fantasy, Conan the Barbarian stuff, right? I think there's a time and place to make stuff up and have fun and fantasy, of course, fiction writing. But this project ain't it. I mean, we're trying to blend, you know, 60, 70, 80% history, actual artifacts, actual stories, with 20 to 30% artistic liberties, like a Victorian painter kind of embellished a little. Like, that's the style, like a Victorian product, a Victorian era, whatever. But one of my first breakthroughs for this portrait was I found this online, this like from around 600, 900, 600 through 900 AD, that range there. I found this Mayan vase, and this woman, it depicted royalty, and this woman had these really distinct red marks on them. It looked modern. It looked like something out of, some sort of cyberpunk, it looks, I don't know, it looks modern and edgy to me, maybe not to you, but it looked like something someone would have spray painted on them in a post-apocalyptic sword fight or something. But they were so striking, I was like, oh, we've got to put that, right? We got to have that. And then, our wonderful portrait painter, Fabiano, she drew her with her mouth open. And dude, in my research, I know nothing about Mayan culture. Like, I have some cultures and times that are kind of like more in my wheelhouse, but Mayan culture, I mean, boop, right? I know zero. So you might know this, but I found out that they this is so crazy. They ground their teeth, right? They filed their teeth, and then they inlaid like jade on their teeth. And this is why I love that history takes you out of your own modern day and you try to wrap your head around, okay, what was going on back then? Why would someone do this? Pain was so important part, as pain was such an important part of their culture, apparently. Like, you had to learn to toughen up, to like go through these trials for the gods, and it running into someone so different from yourself. Like, if you can travel, please do. It's good for you. Not everyone can do that, unfortunately. But the next best thing, what you can do, is you can read and kind of travel in your mind, right? So when you run into someone, even if it's in your mind, or even if they lived 1,000 years ago, and they're so different from like your own experiences or what you would do yourself, if it's so far removed, it really makes you think. It makes you question your own values. It makes you just kind of reevaluate and try and find some context and ask yourself, what did they get right? What did they get wrong? What can I learn from them? Whoa. You know, instead of heading to history hoping to find something that affirms your own beliefs, instead of like trying to cherry pick and look for affirmation, just emptying your mind. Ooh. And going into history like a blank slate and saying, okay, what do you have to teach me this way of life? Not that we need to copy this lifestyle exactly, right? So there was the face paint, the grinding of the teeth. Dude, I forgot to mention this, but their swords, they had these, like, they would take wood and they would line it along the edges right here with obsidian, sharp black rock. And the Spaniards write about how these would just like cut through entire horses and stuff, kind of like a feared weapon. The reason why it's pictured here with a samurai suit of armor is because it was so rare. The curators of the museum were like, I don't even know what this is. I guess this must be a samurai weapon, some sort of weird weapon from Japan. They mistakenly display, this is one of like the last surviving examples of a Mayan sword, pretty huge too from the looks of it, right? They mistakenly exhibited it alongside a piece of samurai armor, so exactly like opposite culture. And unfortunately, this thing perished in a museum fire. So there's no more Mayan swords left in existence. The culture was like 1,000 years ago, and they were made of wood, so I get it. But sadly, it's gone. So there you go. All the more reason to commemorate it by getting your own pack of Swordswoman tarot cards. There's actually a surviving headdress. There is a surviving codex. Now it is Aztec, but you know, as far as a proximity, there were things kind of looking through all the different references and sources. There's things I was happy enough and satisfied enough to include. And those kind of sources kind of brought the character to life, because when you look at the stone reliefs, they're like a really valuable resource, but I don't know. Sometimes I would look at that. I didn't know exactly what I was looking at. Like, is this thing on them? Is that jewelry? Is it cloth? You know, what is it? So the research for that one card was like really hard and really frustrating. I mean, it might not seem like a big deal to you, like now that it's all been thrown together. But man, for me, it was tough to try and do the culture justice and to do the portrait justice, because, you know, you don't want to just make up weird, random, fantastical stuff and then tell people it's history, right? We referenced actual jewelry and like these jade pendants and everything, and those got included. What else? Oh, I told the portrait painter Fabiana, I was like, you need to put some Mayan blue in there. That's kind of fitting, right? So yeah, that was de facto one of the hardest portraits to research, because there's still so much that needs to be written, even about the more mainstream swordswoman, I guess. But Mayan culture. There's just so much that was lost and so much we don't know, right? So yeah, anyways, that's been my journey. We recently commissioned that portrait and we had it done just in time for the campaign, so it's exciting. There's going to be 22 swordswomen in all, different times and different cultures. And yeah, I'll try and keep you guys posted and updated. And like I said, I finally set aside the time. Uh, Basically, if these funds are coming in for Kickstarter and stuff, it means I can take the time to um, go through everything that I have and just try and drop it and like make posts about it or make videos. Not that I'm trying to hold anything hostage at all. I have to like I have to be assured that I can like justify spending the time doing this stuff instead of trying to like scramble and make ends meet some other way. So yeah, thank you so much for checking out the Kickstarter. If you haven't already, go check it out. Plenty of interesting visual stuff, history, sword fighting, crazy stories, and I'll try to drop out more as we keep going. So thanks so much. Cheers.